Well, hello. Welcome to June 14th, 2022. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation, which I haven't been doing so daily this last weekend, long weekend for us. It was a vacation weekend for Yumiko and I. So we took some days off, namely on Monday, and then Tuesday, today, and then last Friday. And we attempted to make a weekend of it in Vegas. However, and while we were away, I decided not to do this. I also didn't read the Bible. I did read it since we came back, so I did it on Sunday and Monday. And I didn't write on my journal I made my journal every day. Yeah, those are the three things. There's the other. It's the journal, it's the video, and it's the reading. And I did every one of those except for the video this last couple of days. Gave myself a break while we were on vacation. No real good spot to do that. I could have improvised something, but something happened along the way that kind of upset the plans. So while we were in Vegas the first day, we walked a lot. And I think I've mentioned before that I've got some medical thing going on. Oh, by the way, this is a video that I do every day to remind myself of my life objectives and principles and to see how I did applying these over the last day, in this case, the last 3 days, and prepare for the coming day. Anyway, so something happened that upset our plans and caused us to basically call our trip short. I guess old age struck. I've had for about 6 months now, I've had a pain in my groin area, and I've gone in to see it, and there's been no conclusive, nothing. Basically, the doctors found nothing. Ultrasounds and examinations, etc., nothing came up. Anyway, on Saturday, normally I walk 5 miles a day, roughly. On Saturday, Yumiko and I, we arrived on Friday. We had a nice time on Friday night. And then on Saturday, we walked all around the downtown, the lower strip there. I guess it would be the south end. We went to the New Yorker Hotel, followed by the Bellagio, Caesar's Palace, and some others along the way. Altogether, we walked about 10 miles. It was a lot of walking. So anyway, I had noticed that the thing that I had gone in to see the doctor about with this groin pain could be alleviated by a little pressure. Come here, baby. Come here. A little pressure, strategically placed, could make the pain go away. And after our 10-mile walk, we were standing in front of Caesar's Palace, and I went to apply the usual, come here, baby, there you go, the usual pressure to make the pain go away. And I got more than I expected. I had discovered a lump there in my groin. A big one, too, about the size of a golf ball, I'd say. A little smaller than a golf ball. You imagine when you reach into your skin to apply the pressure to make the pain go away, and suddenly you're feeling something really hard. It's like, whoa, what's that? The mind begins cascading all kinds of stuff. What preceded was a pretty awful night without any medical advice whatsoever. My mind, or a consultation or whatever, I didn't even want to look it up on the internet. It scared me, finding something, a hard lump in your body. All of a sudden, a painful one, a little smaller than a golf ball. It's a pretty scary prospect at any age. I had a really rough night. Basically what I imagined I had prostate cancer. I don't know exactly where the prostate was, but it seemed to be in roughly the right area. I had a bad night, sleepless night. And the next morning, Yumiko and I were talking, and we decided that we should probably go back. But first we would call my doctors. They've got a 24-hour line, and you could talk to a doctor just about any time. So I called that, and the doctor called back, and she told me that the symptoms that I was describing suggested not cancer, but a hernia, which would be a great relief. I'd never be so happy to have a hernia, rather than a cancer. And she suggested I come back to have it looked at, just in case it wasn't. So that was the end of our trip. We decided to stay the rest of the day because I couldn't get an appointment any sooner than Monday. We decided to stay the rest of the day, and the doctor told me that she'd have a nurse call me back. That was Saturday. That was Saturday. She said she'd have a nurse call me back on Sunday to schedule an appointment, and she did. So we left. We stayed all day Saturday, and we walked around. We saw a few more hotels. We saw the Paris and again with the Bellagio, Caesar's Palace, properly saw it, and then we finished at the Venetian barely because I was in a lot of pain. It hurts actually, and I think it's gotten worse. I think that walking on Saturday or Friday, walking on Friday all day did the trick. Got me bad. Anyway, we came home and really disappointed that we had to cut that trip short. So then we had Sunday. The nurse called out early on Sunday, so we decided to try to recapture some of our time. And Yumiko and I drove to Idlewild, which is only like 30 miles away from here, which is a mountain community. And we went up there and had a really nice time. I mean, the kind of day that a vacation day, should be. We had a really good time in Idlewild. So much so that we kind of entertained the idea of maybe living there after retirement rather than going back to Japan. Then we came home, and that was the end of Sunday. And then Monday, yesterday, I had my doctor's appointment. I went down to Irvine because I still have got this weird thing with the medical. I still have my primary physician down there. So rather than try to make a change, I went ahead and saw her, and she gave me an examination, and she confirmed, yeah, it's a hernia. And she's going to help me get scheduled for surgery to take care of it out here in this area. So that's what the things I'm going to take care of today. So anyway, can you read it in my face? I'm disappointed. This weekend vacation didn't go as expected. And it's not something that really could have been avoided, given the fact that we just simply walked too much. If we'd gone to Disneyland, it would have been the same thing. Anything that would have involved a good deal of walking. Thank goodness we didn't go to London, which was our original plan. Imagine if this had happened after we'd arrived in London and been walking all about. And I'll confess, I was quite shaken by the experience of a night thinking that I might have cancer. From a guy who spends so little time every day asking himself if he's ready to die. I found that I wasn't as ready as I thought I was. And it's not just, I wish I could say that it was just the logistics of making sure my family would be okay. It wasn't just that. Although there is that too. It was mostly, I wouldn't say mostly, about half and half. A sense of not being ready, even though I think I am ready. Not wanting to die, I guess even if you prepare, there's the fact of going away. How did Christopher Hitchens once say it? He said it's not so bad to know when he had stage 4 cancer. Not so bad knowing that you have to leave the party, but that the party's going to go on without you. And you can't stay. Okay, pretty sobering thought. So I'm in a sober mood. Feel like we missed kind of an opportunity. Life's creeping up, old age is creeping up, etc., etc. However, we did maybe find another possible path for our lives. Maybe not Japan. We'll see. Let's see what happens when Emily finishes college. Okay, let's do the Good Life meditation, which I did every day. While I was away, I recited it in my head. I just did it the old way, so I didn't miss this. I just didn't make the video. The Good Life consists of 7 objectives and 30 principles, as follows. Objective number 1 is to be always ready to die, to have everything in good order, my relationships, my circumstance, and my art. Number 2 is to make good and effective use of time, to not let my days just float away, distracted away. Number 3 is to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, namely these 7 and 30. Next is to cultivate good emotional reactions, just to react well to my circumstances. Boy, wasn't I pressed on that one for the last 3 days. Whew. Then comes the recognition of true limits and true opportunities, knowing what is before me that I can do and what is not. And then to do just one thing at a time, and to do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. Okay, now my 30 principles. Number 1 is the principle of war, to always be fighting against what I think is true, so that I can disabuse myself of falsity. Not falsity. Disabuse myself of poorly held beliefs. 2 is reason, and the sub-principles of honesty, objectivity, doubt, and apathy. Is that where apathy belongs? I think so. I recently moved in. That's the way that I approach the world. I try to be honest with myself, objective in my view, reasonable, a skeptic, that is, and then apathetic towards the things that are outside of my control. Why do I feel like that is not where it belongs, but I think it is. I'm not quite up to this today. It's tough to get back in the saddle. I was tempted to stop doing this. I was literally tempted to think, I think I've done enough with season 2 of The Good Life. Because I have a season 1 where I did this in a different way. But I decided, I gave myself the whole weekend to think about it. I think I'm going to continue. It's a good practice. Number 3 is the Homunculus, the reminder that I don't have a soul, but I do have a consciousness. Number 4 is the Anchorhold, the suggestion that my consciousness is trapped in my head and won't escape my death. Then comes purpose. No, is that right? No, the home of good and evil. Reminder that right and wrong are opinions, mere opinions, subjective at their root. And then purpose, and the principles of biology, virtue, and mission. Biology being the effort and energy and time it takes to raise my daughter. Virtue being to live a virtuous life, seeking to improve the well-being of thinking creatures. And then mission being to pursue the mission of sharing the story of and the message of going alone. My book. Next is atomic principle. Everything is made of bits and pieces, including us. And those pieces are falling to pieces. And next is the principle of nature. Everything has some particular nature, including you and me. And then the pirate ride, the suggestion that free will is an illusion, very convincing, but an illusion nonetheless. And then maturity. Maturity consists of the 2 sub-principles of wisdom and fortitude. And then the social principle. We are social creatures, we need each other. And then public speaking, a reminder to use few words carefully chosen words and deliberate words. And then after that comes the Feast of Offal. No. Temperance. And the sub-principles of suffering and simplicity. Does apathy belong there? No, I moved apathy, didn't I? Reminder to be very careful in my consumption. Temperate. Not just food and drink, but also work and play and all the rest. And then after temperance comes the horror show. Wow, it's amazing. Just stop doing this so actively for 3 days and I kind of lose it all. The horror show, a reminder that life is a quite terrible place and that the horror is coming for all of us. I had a false alarm. Myself this last Saturday. False alarm of horror. There's the title right there. All right, after that comes that which must be borne, carried, which is the horror show and all of our responsibilities and all the commitments we've made. And then the Feast of Offal, what we do when we get upset and we throw that upset out into the world and soil others. Likewise, when we consume the attempted soiling of others who attempt to soil the world. I try not to engage in that, not to be a giver nor a consumer of the feast. And then distraction. Everything in life is a big distraction to keep us busily occupied in reproducing and to keep us from witnessing the fact that the universe doesn't seem to care or even be capable of caring. We're on our own. And the next principle is called agency and the great indifference. Reminder of the emptiness of the universe. Excuse me. And then after that comes the best seat in the house. To not want to be anyone else or be anywhere else or be doing anything else. But to be okay with who I am, where I am, and what I'm doing right now. And then the Path of Wildness, which is a way forward and up into and through new life. And then the risk of avoiding risk, the surface level and deep risks of life. Reminder to try to balance the attempt to achieve both. And then sin and damnation, reminder to be untrue, believe things that are untrue, or to engage in gossip. Namely, enumerated these sins in my life. There are 7. These are falsity, credulity, faith, superstition, dogma, authority, and gossip. Next comes complete oblivion, reminder that when death comes, that's the end. No final reunion, no final reconciliation, and no final justice. Next comes the great life adventure, one or more experiences that kind of form our nature, to create episodic stories in life, chapters. They don't come free. And then the season of philosophy, keeping the pen handy to record whatever words may come of a well-lived life. And then the bullseye aim, striving for the center mark and missing. The uphill climb, keeping forward on the trudge up in life. Arena and utility. Life is an arena, and these principles are tools to get through and get by. And then nothing is enough. A further suggestion that not just to apply temperance, but to close in on abstinence even, as a better way of life. And then finally, the principle of fun. A reminder to have a good time. To not be too serious all the time, as I tend to be. Okay, fine. That's it. That's my good life creed. Now let's plan for the coming day. It's a day off, but I plan to work it. Not work properly, but I plan to catch up on all the stuff that I missed over the long weekend away. Mainly, I'll finish this. I'll start the upload, read my Bible. Then I think today I'm going to finish the life of Samuel Johnson. I've only got 2 pages to go. And then I'll begin to do all my cleaning, tend to a few things. And then maybe spend the rest of my day reading, sitting in this chair. That's it. Thanks for joining me. Be safe, but not too safe.